Welcome back, everyone. Rob Joswiak here. Thanks for checking out the material on my YouTube page. And I wanted to start this video out by saying that while I do show all the cool places I go and even some work stuff that I do, I want this channel to be an outlet for you, a resource for information about the Foreign Service and different backgrounds, different pathways. And so I'm going to start doing interviews with people from all different walks of life that ended up in the Foreign Service, not even necessarily as FSOs, but are just working at embassies or consulates around the world for them to give you their perspective. Today with me, I have one of my best friends, Luis Linares. Did I say that right? With the accent. Retired Air Force Major. He was also an LNA in Porto Alegre, Brazil, which was my first post. Then went on and became an FSO. And this is your second career. Yeah. So this video is going to be about joining the Foreign Service later in life. And so, Luis, what advice would you have for people who are, let's say approaching 40 or even older, that think, oh, maybe I'm a little too old for the Foreign Service or anything like that? What advice would you give them, and what has your perspective and pathway been like?
Yeah, I would not worry about the age perspective. More and more new Foreign Service officers tend to be in their mid-30s. I've met a lot of them in their early 40s. I joined when I was 49 for the Foreign Service itself, and for the Consular Fellow program / the LNA program, I was 44. So again, it's a big advantage. Whether you're coming in from the private sector or the public sector, you're bringing in a lot of experience. You're going to receive a lot of respect from your peers and superiors because they want to listen to what you have to say from your experiences, and you also have to listen to them. It's a meeting of different cultures. It's very exciting if you really want to look for a new opportunity professionally in life.
Luis, one concern a lot of people have, and I see it on the internet when people are posting thinking about joining, as I said a little later in life, family. Mm-hmm. If you're in your 20s or even early 30s, typically you may or may not be married, probably don't have kids. You get further down the road, those issues and those priorities become a concern. What advice would you have? What about my spouse getting a job? What about the kids? What about schooling? Because I don't have kids, so that's a lot of, in the Foreign Service, I don't even know that world very much. I know you can speak to it with your girls having gone to school in Brazil and your wife back in Texas now.
Yeah, be ready to be flexible, and your partner needs to understand that they have to be flexible. I cannot make this rosy perfect experience. You have to take into consideration your partner's professional goals, their preferences. I think when we bid on assignments, we put our preferences as to that work-life balance, but also that family balance. Maybe go to a location where there is a better opportunity for family employment. When it comes to kids, you're virtually guaranteed a great school, private school, mainly English instruction as well as instruction in the local language. When kids are small, they're sponges and they're going to become multilingual. In my case, mine have become trilingual, very advantageous, but also be ready for after those 2 or 3 years to say goodbye to friends. Maybe one advantage perhaps when I'm 51, so when I was a kid and I wanted to stay in touch with my friends, you have to pay for a long distance phone call or write a letter that takes about 2 weeks to get to your friend. This day and age, you can turn on a phone and talk to your friends, and my kids to this day will turn their phone on and talk to their friends in Brazil that they've made. But obviously when it's time to leave school and move to another school, it can be stressful for some kids, while other kids are saying, wow, new opportunity, this is great. I have 2 girls, one of them's like me, travel adventure, wants change every few years, while my youngest kid's more like, I like the same location, I'm more comfortable in the same location. So take all that into account. Be realistic, be flexible. You have to find that balance, and I'd be lying to you if I said it was easy. No, it's not easy.
And I hear from coworkers as well, colleagues, Luis, that like you could have one kid that's loving the lifestyle and another that doesn't. Maybe your spouse isn't happy, but the kids are. I mean, it really is a mixed bag, and I hate to say it, like you're saying, a bit of a crapshoot. You could love the job where you're at, but maybe you don't like the city or the country. Maybe your wife or husband gets a job. Maybe they don't. Maybe they get a job in the embassy. A lot of spouses, and I think this was true for your wife, end up working at the schools that are affiliated with the embassy or consulate. Also, the embassies have jobs that are available. That's a whole nother discussion. But there are career opportunities available for spouses. While not easy, maybe not a good perfect fit given the educational and career background that your spouse has. But Yeah.
Yeah, in my case, we're lucky that my spouse is a preschool teacher, so that's very marketable just about anywhere in the world. So she was able to teach at the Canadian school when we were in Brazil. So yeah, keep that in mind as well. But also, if your spouse, your partner has a private sector experience in multinational world, a lot of work is virtual these days, and the pandemic
Right.
proved you can get a lot of your work done virtually, which is I think is a great opportunity. It shows how connected the world is in
Yeah.
many ways. So keep all that in mind, but also remember this is a very, very, very rewarding experience. One of the things that kind of disappoints me when I go back to the States, some people don't even know what a diplomat is.
Yeah.
When you say the word.
Well, that's
diplomat.
why I have this channel to
Yeah.
try to, educate people and
I've even had guidance counselors at elementary school give me a blank stare when I mentioned diplomacy. So yeah, it's very unique opportunities, and my philosophy has always been if you want to minimize conflict abroad, decrease misunderstanding, travel, see the world,
Yeah.
and share our values, but also learn what they got to say about their values and
Yeah.
their experiences. I think it's a good experience.
Louise, we'll end with this question. On the extreme end, let's say someone's 50, 55, because that happens. I had a couple in my A100 class. What advice do you give to those folks who are maybe just looking to get 10 years in?
Yeah.
Because we have to retire unless you become an ambassador, mandatory retirement in the Foreign Service at 65. So I see sometimes on the internet someone's in their early to mid 50s. Oh, do I have enough time? As long as you come into A100 and start by 60, right? So you can do 5 years, you can join.
Yep.
But what advice, because you have experiences with some of those folks, what advice would you give if someone happens to see this video and come onto my YouTube channel for the much older crowd that's only got 5 or 10 years left in their career?
You're doing it. I'm assuming because you want to do it. Make the best of it. For me, I'll be honest. It's also an investment. I'm retired military. Have some previous public sector experience. So I'm going to add some more years and get a second retirement check. I mean, you also have to be smart about your financial planning. But coming in later in life, again, what I mentioned earlier. People are going to look to you for a lot of advice because you have a lot of experience. But also listen to people. I think I come from Generation X, and we tend to be told that we're very set in our ways. So be flexible, listen to other people, look at the way they do things. But coming in at an older age, if anything, when I was in the A100 class that Rob was talking about, I was 49 and I think I was the fifth oldest. So people are coming in at later stages in life. They want to do one last swan song, if you will, before they fully retire. But it's great. Make the best of it. It's very diverse. My class, as a matter of fact, had all 4 generations.
Wow.
There was a baby boomer. There was about 4 of us Generation Xers, lots of millennials, and lots of Zs or Ys. Ys. So yeah, you're gonna meeting and working with different generations is definitely very helpful. Again, each one might have their own little quirks set in their ways, but just listen, exchange ideas. It's about collaboration. If you don't have good interpersonal skills, it's going to be very hard to survive in the State Department. And you also have to be patient. Even if you think everything you've been doing your whole, talking to the older folks like me, even if you think your ways are always work well, they result in success, listen to other people's ideas because things change fast. And also keep up with technology.
Yeah.
When I was in my 20s, new in the Air Force, I would see the older crowd just struggling with a computer, complaining about it, but no, just adapt. Be flexible, like I said earlier.
So I hope this video, gives you a little idea that you can join later in life. It does happen. It's more common than you think. And, it could be some of the best years of your life at the tail end of your career or your second career. Again, just trying to make these videos to give different perspectives, touch on topics that people ask about. Hope you're enjoying the channel. Lots of other content. Check it out. And hopefully see you in the Foreign Service someday. Louise, thank you very much.
Thanks, Rob.